Alright, and welcome back. So we're going to continue with our hand sculpt, and we're going to add a bit more detail into our sculpt. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the detail size down to about 0.4, not 0.4, but 4. And we're going to get started. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to gloss over this with the flatten brush. And I can smooth it out. Alright, so let's get cracking. Let's go change this to glacier. In fact, that's not even glaciers right now. Let's just Shift C, bring it to crease mode. I'm going to work on these fingernails first part of it. Now, one thing to help your accuracy with this is go to stroke and then check smooth stroke. So now if you click and drag, a line appears and you can better guide your brush. So I turn that on. I'm going to kind of smooth that out. Not smooth it out, but crease it in. Let's go up. Let's turn the strength up a bit. Yeah, that's better. Let's crease all of that in. Crease that inward like that. Alright. Like that. Like that. Yeah. And I'm going to, on the clay strips, and just smooth this area out. I'm going to keep that crease there, so we got the thumbnail. I'm going to clay strips. I'm going to smooth this part out a bit more, make it more thumb-like, and then I'm going to hit G for grab, make it a bit bigger, and bring this part inward just a little bit. I crease this, and I hit C just to go to regular clay mode. I personally don't like it as much as clay strips, but for what we're trying to do, it does get the job done. Okay, so that's good. So now I'm going to come in, add some of the wrinkles in here. And smooth out around it. Don't have to be too prominent. Like so. Shift C again, we'll put some in here. C, come in here and just smooth that out. Like so. And smooth that out. Shift C, come in here, we're going to make these a bit sharper. Like so. I'm just smoothing out the edge here to give it a smoother transition. Shift C to bring that back. Regular C, just smooth out the edge there. Try to be careful. Shift C again. Add a little crease there. Heck with that one here, why not? And let's bring this crease all the way around like so. Hit C. And we're going to move that down. Smooth out the edges. Alright. Sharpen up that crease there that we made. Now there are several areas in this part of the fingers. It's not like one straight crease, though there is only one bend. In my hand anyway, there's like more than one crease. So I'm not going to place too much importance on getting every last one of those nuances. You know, just try to get it as best you can. Follow your own hand. Your hand does not have to look exactly like my hand, because I'm using my own hand for reference. So your hand might look slightly different. So don't be whoopsie daisy. I changed to vertex paint. Don't mind that. But let me make sure dynamic topologies turn back on. But yeah, make sure that you don't worry about it too much if your hand looks different than mine, because it's bound to. Another way you can add these crease details, if you come in here with the clay strips brush and then just smooth out the edge that you don't want to be too prominent. So I'm gonna come in here, smooth that out like so. Add some detail that way. And just come in here, make some details. There we go. There. Smooth out this a little bit, just a little bit. Like that. Just going to add just a bit more meatiness to the tip of the finger. I think that's a bit too much meatiness, and smooth that down a bit. Just to help even that out a little bit. Focusing on the bottom right now, not paying too much attention to the top at this particular point in time. Get to the top later, when we get to it, really. So we'll get to it when we get to it kind of deals. Let's sharpen that crease up, sharpen this crease up here. Regular C, let's go smooth that out. Just a little on the edges, like so. And I'm going to use the Shift C method this time just to save me some time. And just change. I selected the smooth brush individually to change the strength up. Right, the clay strips. So I need this to be a bit flatter. I added too much too quickly. There we go. Alright, so now let's get to these fingernails like we did with the thumb. Shift C. What's a daisy? Let's go in. Turn that down. Let's start forming that shape. Let's get in here. And just crease that out. Alright. Alright, now I'm going to hit G. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Just want to bring this up a little bit. Like that. Same thing with this one. Smooth that. And smooth this part out too. I smoothed it a bit much. But yeah, that's better. Give these fingers a bit more of a more like a curved shape from the tip, like that. Alright, we're going to go through and do all the fingernails. I'm not liking the way this fingernail is turning out. Let me start the way I usually start. Just come in like that. Put on the other side like that. Bring it around town. We'll do the front like so. Like that. Okay, that's better. Alright. And let's go, whoops a daisy, smooth this out here. So it's starting to look like an actual hand now. I'm going to sharpen this up. And smooth that. Smooth that right on down. Smooth this area also. finger's kind of a bit uneven. Fix that right up. G to grab, smooth that up. Smooth that out. Whoops. Smooth that out a bit much. Okay, that's better. That's better. Let's come out. Smooth it up, but at the same time, let's still keep that arch going. Alright. Very good. Alright, last nail. This is probably the most tedious part of this. Doing all the little subtle details and everything, like the fingernails and whatnot. But it must be done. Alright. See, smooth out the rim here. Just gonna smooth all of this from the top, like so. Alright, now let's come in and start making those creases. Like so. Add about. I'm trying to make them look kind of similar. Not too much variation here. Doesn't need to be. You know, just as long as it kind of makes sense to you. Doesn't have to be too extravagant. Mine won't be. It'll be enough to get the point across. Okay. Now we're going to come back and smooth all of these out. Alrighty. Now let's hit C. Let's come in, smooth all the edges so that they don't appear so harsh. Alrighty. These knuckles here could use a bit more work. Let's go to clay strips. Look at my knuckles. The knuckles don't really have that much detail on them, really. But you know, just make sure that they're noticeable knuckles. Make sure it's clear that he indeed does have knuckles. Alright. Now, one thing that the regular draw brush is useful for is adding veins and stuff. We're going to add just a few veins in here in this hand. So let's go to Sculpt Draw, turn the brush size down. Just going to add a few veins in here. Also, let's turn on Smooth Stroke. So one vein will travel up like so. Separate it into that. Another one will come up, follow like that. Let's see. You can get another one or something like this. Go through it like that into that. And you got some more veiny structures here. Let's connect these up. Like that. Alright. Now let's hit regular C. I'm just going to smooth these out just a little bit. I'm going to turn the strength on smooth down. Remember, smooth is S. I'm going to turn that back down so that I don't completely destroy the details I've made. There we go. Alright, I'm going to make these a bit more subtle details. So you have a hint of it, just a slight hint. Like so. Like so. Okay. That's good. I'm happy with this. So I'm going to change the detail size down to 2. Going to get the flatten brush, flatten all this out slightly. I'm going to get the smooth brush, turn the strength down just a tiny bit, and we're going to come in here and smooth all that. I turn the strength down so that doesn't affect the broad details too much, but I can come in here and smooth this out without too much of a problem. Let's get the flatten brush. Do the same thing on this side. And smooth it out. In fact, let's change this to smooth shading now, so we can better see what we're doing. Because this is the view we're gonna be in when we map this to our character. I'll show you what that means when we get to it. Okay. I'm gonna flatten all this out. Whoopsie daisy. I'm gonna flatten all this out. Fabulous. Turn the brush size up a little bit. I'm gonna flatten all this out. Get all up in there. Alright, and I'm going to come in and smooth it. Like so. It'll make the details more subtle, but we really don't need them to be that harsh anyway. Like that. Alright. And there we go. That's our hand. So now, you may be asking yourself, how are we going to connect this to the body? Well, first thing we're going to do is go to object mode. Alright, so now we're in object mode, and we're going to hold shift and select the layer where our body is. Now, we're going to go back to sculpt mode for a second. And in fact, no, not on the hands. Go back to object mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click the body. And we're going to go to sculpt mode in the body. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to use the inflate brush, and I'm going to make this part of the arm so that it kind of sort of engulfs the hand a little bit, like that. Now I'm going to go back to object mode. I'm going to select the hands, and I'm going to shift select the body, and then in our sculpt tab down here we have a few options. We have union, difference, intersect. We're going to click union. I'm going to give it a second because it does take a bit to compute, especially considering how high poly these two meshes are. So now with our meshes unified, you see they're the same mesh, and I'm not going to tab into edit mode because I'm afraid that'll crash my computer, but basically all the geometry is now one with one another. And so now we're going to, with our body selected, we're going to go back into scope mode. Going to make sure dynamic topology is turned on. It's fine. Just give it a minute. Alright, we're going to change the detail size up to 5, just so that my machine doesn't crash. And I'm going to go in here and smooth this out. I needed to make it this bulgy, just so that I could unify it and connect it. But now that I'm done with that, I'm actually going to go to smooth, turn up the strength a lot. Now you see the hand is slowly forming to the shape of the body, like so. And now we have successfully connected our hand to the body. So that's why we needed that other add-on there. Okay, so now that that's finished, we're going to, in the next one, we're going to get started retopologizing. We're not going to finish the entire process of retopologizing because of what we're going to have to do for the head. So we're going to stop right around this neck area here. But that's what we'll be doing in the next tutorial. And so before we go, just change this to object mode. Alright, so your machine should be moving a lot faster now. And we're going to save this. So I'm going to save this as, this is part 9, I believe. And this was sculpting the hands, part 2. Save it. Okay. So, see you on the next tutorial.